Alliance raids are just about to start, or have started depending on when you see this video. What are some of the best options to use? Because of course we have had some changes. I've got links in the description to everything that I'm covering in this video, including an amazing infographic done by Cat Murdoch. This is, yeah, just incredible. And Cat does need some more information, so if you have, and as she's put here, she doesn't have the data on strength, so make sure to go to the link in the description and just let her know if you've used any of the champions with the aforementioned different the buffs for the various different types of roles that you might have used. Sorry, champions that you've used against them. With the start of the new Alliance raid season, or this new kind of like rotation, this update, there are going to be some champions you're going to be a bit wary of in the rotation of things. A lot of them will be very scary around the miss mechanic, and there are some things that are put your way in order to help you out. So Undermine is replacing vigilance, with a new buff, raids boon vigilance. And it will function the same way as Undermine, but it will grant a vigilance passive instead. That vigilance passive is your brief counter to the miss mechanic that comes from some of the bosses. Now, I think Cat's been given some extra information. Of course, you'll learn this by the time it goes out, which is, or maybe it's on the actual raid week itself to give you a bit of an idea of things, which I can't click on for some reason. That's becoming a bit annoying. But in a nutshell, it is right here, which is raid boon. Gaining raid force gives attacker a 10-second vigilance passive. This is very helpful because the bosses you're going to face off against will be these champions right here. Prowler, Invisible Woman, and Hood. Yes, and also Professor X. So, more so for Prowler, I think a lot of people have their concerns, and that's on the Prowler miss loop. Here's a good example. So I saw this, and this is very relevant. So, Sino Bambino says, can anyone advise me, will there be an issue with gaining Vigilance boon against Prowler in raids when required to punish a special to gain the boon? I may be mistaken, but if he falters after specials, then you could get caught in a loop where you can increase the roll charge unless your champion has a miss counter. So that's obviously put in the implication of what are going to be some of the best champions, or the access to different types of vigilance and miss mechanics that are going to be helpful to you. It is a very much suck it and see type thing. If you're not familiar with that phrase, it basically means we're going to have a bit of a go, see what's actually going to work out well, because the champions that we could recommend to you may not be the best ones. We'll only know through trying. Trial and error, my friends, with it. So, what could be some good options to take on for this? Well, I've got like a few kind of like suggestions here, except right off the bat, I just want to explain, Magneto's only there because you can only really use him for Prowler. For those that know, Prowler is a hashtag metal, and none of the others are, which of course is a problem if you're looking for a miscounter for things. And it does limit you potentially on who you choose against stuff. If you are a assault player, Kitty Pryde, and yeah, Nick Fury, 5 tactical charges, I think is it 5? I'm probably gonna get, no, it is miss. For a moment, I just like questioned myself, and I was about to say, it's only auto block, isn't it? But I'm pretty certain under 5 tactical charges. I'm dying. Oh, there you can see he gets after 5 tacticals. I'm fine. So it went down the wrong way. I had fish tacos for dinner. Anyway, so there's an option there. Killmonger can be used, but I'm not a big fan of Killmonger when I'm rotating around him being a miscounter. Vox makes a lot of sense because if you can get his buffs on consistently, he can be an asset for you, especially with his use of corrupted buffs. I think that's how it works. I only have a 5-star version, I want a 6-star version, so therefore I don't play with the champion often enough to make it relevant to rotate and stuff, but under that theory, that should be correct. Handy SP2 rotation for Gladiator will see you get a nice vigilance buff for 20 seconds, which can be very helpful to kind of mitigate that 10 seconds on, 10 seconds off passive that could come up from time to time. And of course, you know, he's an absolute machine. There's, of course, everyone's favourite Cosmic Ghost Rider, who has a vigilance buff as well. So you've got options to play with Tactician. But of course, as we said, you don't have to focus that as a main thing to counter with Mist, because you do get it. It's just, do you take the risk on the way that it's formulated and go, hey, I got 10 seconds and this is working well, or is it going to be scary for you? Is it not? I'm sure when it comes to, I'm sure a lot of the champion options are going to be great against who you want to take in, who's your strongest. But I think that maybe for the first time, you might want to play around with mist counters just to see what happens. Under the Vanguard moniker, there are Mega Sentinel and Mole Man, two great mist counters. My personal favourite is a Mega Sentinel. Tracking debuff is just an absolute delight. And I can't... No, I'm not. I used to be a Vanguard player. Otherwise, I just use Mega Sentinel because she is indeed one of my favourites. You can see there. Bypass effective miss for 8 seconds. Finishing combo with a light attack or landing a heavy attack. Pauses all personal debuffs on the opponent for 7 seconds. I've always got to remember to do. I always forget to do that. I don't like doing a heavy attack though, because it kind of switches the different... switches out. So I'm all about doing the light attack and then kind of... you know, pausing it and trying to figure out that's the way to do it. But yeah, miscounters, ahoy. These are some great options. It's not all of them. There are some other exceptions, but I feel these would be effective and helpful to players as I choke again. Now, if you're looking for other champions that you could use similar put together, like some new additions, in yellow are the new additions and in red are the ones going. I know a lot of people will be upset with the fact that Hulkling and Domino are gone. Domino, one of my favourites. I know a lot of people like Hulkling, so I feel for everybody when it comes to the favourite champion being removed. Interesting to see that Nefaria is being added in, but he's doing some bits at the moment. I'd love to get one. I haven't got one. She-Hulk's Deathless being added in. Don't know what her ability is. Could be good for this. May not be. Don't know. I'm surprised we haven't seen any ability information from Kabam on stuff, but we'll have to see what they do with stuff, because they got to do a lot of things. But the main takeaway I want to just say for the video is just use champions you feel comfortable with. There are going to be with the likes of Prowler. I think Prowler and for sure Invisible Woman are going to have frustrating miss mechanics as part of them. They will. One has Pierce, so that could be a little bit frustrating, but I don't think it is going to be, oh no, this is so scary, this is so bad. I just think that maybe for the first round, trying out some miscounters could be at least an idea to just try and train yourself on the fights, kind of see what's good, what's a pain point, what's bad, and stuff like that. But apart from that, I think it's going to be absolutely fine. It'll just be about how you pair up against some of the various different tactics with who you use, who you'd like to use. You know, I would like to say I'd use Destroyer. I don't have Destroyer. I want to Destroyer so badly. But I do want to use Gladiator. I'm eyeing up Gladiator for this one. I think that's because I'm Tactician. I'm not quite sure. I can't remember. You know, it's been a little while. You know, we haven't had so much raids nowadays. I'm waiting for compensation, know what I mean? But at least, you know, with a great guide like this, you can get a flavour of going, okay, well, I've got, you know, super buffs. Do I pair it up with Gladiator? Not sure. Well, I've got Gladiator as well. Pair it up with Vicious Placebo. Maybe that could be a good option to kind of pair up there. Vox. A lot of people rate Vox. I don't have Vox, but if you do, you may have that. 7-star version of Hyperion. People are getting that. Pairing it up against or putting it on with unparalleled buffs and getting yourself a super amount of damage. Punishing a heavy attack or a special attack will grant in order a 45-second fury, armor, precision, true damage and cruelty buff for 10% potency. Nice. And each unique buff grants an all-attack burst of damage. So look at you stacking on your damage right there. If you've got a 7-star Hyperion. I do have a 7-star Hyperion. I don't know if I'd rank to him just yet, especially because I do have Adam Warlock. So I kind of go like, well, I'll rank to Adam Warlock and use him for some other stuff as well. If you've got 7-star versions of champions, they're great. If you've got ascended versions, they're great. If you've purposely ranked up and ascended for this, and obviously one of your champions you're not able to use because it's been removed, then sad times. But you know, that usually happens. You might have already have a 5-star rank 5 Mole Man, which you're looking to use in some sort of capability. You know, over various things. Vanguard. Whether you've got Iron Man, whether or not you've got Colossus. I do like using Colossus, but I'm not Vanguard anymore. So each individual, each to their own, and different champions, of course, are going to be good. Is Silk still in there? Was Silk re-added? I'm going to have a little look, because I thought Silk was removed, but I could be wrong. No, Silk's still in there as a Vanguard. She's right there. In short, Richard, there. There. So, yeah. Each their own. Miscounters, maybe. I think that's the preface of the video is there are some miscounters, miscountering champions. We've seen that in the video, of course. Is the vigilance going to help you out? The boon, the raid boon. Yes, it is. It's 10 seconds enough of a window to apply and reapply? Maybe. Can you have miss completely suppressed? Don't know just yet. First round, go in with miscounters, quite possibly. Anyway, what are your thoughts on some of the options that you could be using? Will you be using miscounters? Will you be using just some of your regular champions against some of the various different of these role buffs? Boosts even. Your thoughts in the comments. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Oh, check out some other content. Bye.